Hey guys, so today we're going to install the Steeda shifter base bushing bracket, which is located right here. So we're going to use a 1/2 inch ratchet with an extension and an 18mm socket. That's going to be to remove the 4 bolts holding the transmission cross member to the body. Then we're going to use a 1/4 inch ratchet with, if you have a 10-inch extension that would be nice, but I just pieced together a couple 3-inch extensions and then a 6-inch extension I had. Then we're also going to use a 10mm deep socket. To make my life easier, I'm also going to use a drill. This is because the threading that the nut is going to come off for the bracket, it's fairly long, and this just makes things go a lot easier and faster. Let's get started. So what we're going to do first is go ahead and support the transmission. I do it right in front of this plug, and also I use a block of wood just to protect the transmission casing, but just add some support underneath that. And then we're going to go ahead and loosen the 4 bolts on the outside of the cross member, and those are the 18mm bolts. So we're going to remove those, lower the transmission and drive shaft as much as possible. That way we can have more room to work to get to that bracket. So this is going to be one of the bolts that we want to remove. There's also going to be another bolt that's going to be exactly the same on the opposite side. This is where the deep 10mm socket comes into play. We'll just go ahead and break that loose, and then I'm going to use the drill to completely remove it. Now on the passenger side, once you go to remove the bracket, you'll pull it. After you loosen these bolts, you'll pull the bracket off the base or the shifter. There's a little clip that actually holds it on, and you have to essentially pry that clip. So if you feel like you're going to break the bracket, don't stress out about it. It just takes a little bit of force to do it. And if you're swapping out the shifter, it makes it much easier if this is out of the way, because you can actually pull straight down on it. Since I've already done a shifter installation on my car, I don't have to do that. I'm going to go ahead and remove those 2 10mm bolts. So this is where the 1/4 inch ratchet with a lot of extensions comes into play. It makes it a lot easier to just get up there to that nut, and that makes it much easier. You have more room to work with to loosen it. Alright guys, so for the passenger side, I actually removed one of the 3-inch extensions. That way I can have the ratchet between the drive shaft and the where the connection for the X pipe and the headers are. And you just get in there, get it loose enough to where you can get a drill in there to completely remove that bolt. Okay. And then pretty much the same thing for the driver's side. Since I don't have the clamp on the passenger side, the bracket just falls right off. But if you have that clamp on there, what you could try to do is just get a hold of the shifter and get enough leverage to pull it down to where that clamp will just come off. It takes a lot of force. Or you could slide the bushing off the back of the shifter to where all you have to pull on is the bracket itself. But once you get it to where those bolts are off and that clips off, bracket just comes right out. I'm just going to show a quick comparison of the stock shifter base bracket and the Steeda bracket. As you can tell, there's a big difference in construction. This one's more solid. I can't even squeeze that one together. This one, there's actually a little bit of play that just me squeezing it moves. And I get it, it's Ford's trying to make the car more comfortable by decreasing NVH. And we'll see if this is going to be an increase in NVH as well after I get it installed and drive it. But just first look, I prefer this over this. This is more solid. How this works is you'll put the bushing over the shifter, and then you'll take the bracket part, just slide it right over it, bolt it up. You're good to go. The first step is just gonna be sliding the bushing over the end of the shifter. It's hard to video this and do it at the same time because I'm needing both hands, but it slides on very easy. Now we're just gonna slide the bracket over the bushing and get everything bolted up. It was a little bit difficult to get the outside of the bracket that goes over the bushing on, but it is possible. And then once you get it lined up, you can actually just pull the shifter against the drive shaft and that'll slide it right on there. Then you'll reinstall the two 10mm bolts, reinstall or jack up the transmission so you can reinstall the 4 bolts for the cross member, and you're good to go. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below and I'll answer them. Take care, have a good day.